Welcome you all for this video lecture on object-oriented analysis and design. Before getting into the subject, let us try to understand what is the objective of studying this paper. After successfully completing this paper, you might be knowing the fundamentals of object modeling. You can understand the difference between unified process from other applications. You can design static and dynamic UML diagrams for the given software process. You can improve software design with the help of design patterns. Finally, we can test whether the requirement specifications are met with respect to the developed software. So now we will move into the and in this lecture, we are going to see this contents. We are trying to understand what is object-oriented analysis and design first. Then how the object-oriented approach is implemented in this OOAD and what are the benefits of applying this OOAD concepts in the software development process. Then we will see the basics of classes and objects. Finally, we will give assignment in this topic what you have seen in today's class. What is object-oriented analysis and design? So for this subject, the prerequisite is object-oriented programming concept, that is OOPS, then the software development approach. In this paper, we are going to see the procedure for developing a software application, right? In a software engineering paper, what you are studying, if any process or a specific a project is given, how the project will be designed. What are the different steps we follow to design a software process? The same thing here we are going to see, but in a different perspective. Here we are going to apply object-oriented programming concepts so that we can realize the benefits of object-oriented concepts and designing software for a particular process. So, object-oriented analysis and design is nothing but a popular technical approach for analyzing and designing an application or a system or a business by applying object-oriented paradigm concepts. And finally, we can have some visual modeling throughout the development life cycles. We will be having various life cycles. In each and every cycle, we will have a visual model so that we can understand the process quickly and we can make corrections according to what we have developed. And also this visual models helps better communication and improves product quality. Hope you understand what is object-oriented analysis and design. Yes, again we are going to develop a software process but in an object-oriented programming perspective. It means that we are going to apply object-oriented programming concepts to develop a software. This is what the subject is about. This is what object-oriented programming concept is about. Okay, let us see the next. So again here what we have said is depicted in a diagrammatic manner. Here actually, before developing any software process, the requirement analysis phase is the initial phase, which is more important. So you have to collect the requirement from the customer or the stakeholder properly so that you can end up with the right software. You can satisfy the stakeholder. So here object-oriented analysis and design helps us to end up with the correct product what the customer has said to us. So in the requirement analysis phase, a system requirements will be collected, right? So here this system requirements will be converted into object-oriented analysis model. Here in this object-oriented analysis model, some visual representations of the project which is going to be developed, and also we can do analysis of this visual model. And each and every stage of life cycle we are going to check whether we are doing the right purpose. So similarly, in the software design, we will have an object-oriented design model instead of a plain design model. So in every stage of a software development process, we are going to apply object-oriented concepts. So students, try to recollect the basics of object-oriented programming concept you studied in earlier semester. What is object-oriented programming? Let us try to recollect the basic concepts we studied in earlier semester. We all know well that object is nothing but an instance of class. So object will be a real world entity. It may be a pen or pencil or whatever it is. So just it is a real world entity is called as object. So we know that each object will have two sections. One is data section, the other is code section. The data, which is nothing but attributes of the object, and code section define what are the operations we are going to perform on this set of attributes or data. So object oriented programming is a methodology to design a program using classes and objects. It simplifies software development process with the help of concepts like inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction and encapsulation. So we can have a better analysis model with the help of object-oriented programming. Let us fine-tune our discussions and we will have the formal definition for OOAD in this slide. So what is OOAD? So OOAD is nothing but a software engineering approach that models a system as a group of interacting objects. So based on the problem domain, we will have multiple objects defined here which will be interacting with each other to accomplish a specific purpose. So what is analysis? We all know it well. So analysis is nothing but understanding, finding and describing concepts in the problem domain. So in the design phase, we are going to implement code for the analysis we have done in earlier phase. This is what the definition of OOAD is about. So in this slide, you just try to recollect what are the development life cycles we go through to develop a particular process. System development activities consist of, yes, we start with analysis phase, then modeling, designing, implementation, finally testing and maintenance. So these are the different phases we go through to develop any particular software, and each and every phase of this development we are going to apply object oriented programming concept. That is what about OOAD says. Practices, procedures and rules used to develop software totally based on system requirement. Since the entire subject relies on object oriented concept, again we are seeing what is object oriented approach and we are trying to list out the benefits of object oriented approach. Object oriented development offers a different model based on functions and procedures. Here software is a collection of discrete objects that encapsulate the data as well as functionality, as obviously each object will have data section and procedure section. Each object has attributes and methods. Yes. Here the software is built by building self-contained models or objects that can be easily replaced, modified and reused. Here the objects are grouped into classes. In this slide we have listed the benefits of object-oriented concept. So with the help of object orientation, we can develop a project or product faster than the traditional approach. Here in this object orientation, each module will be divided into number of objects, and these objects are self-contained modules, so that whenever or wherever we want, we can go and fix this. We can go and create instance of that particular class, so that we can reuse the code more effectively with the help of object-oriented programming concept, so that it leads to increased quality of the product also. The rising level of abstraction helps the implementation of application, the same term as the stakeholder described. Yes, abstraction is nothing but holding the data section and procedure section together. Since we are making it as a single entity, we can check what the stakeholder described. So if there is any change, we can do change in the particular object itself. No need to touch the other modules or programs. It easily adapts to changing requirements. Again, same thing. If there is any change required, we go and do it in the particular object or module alone. No need to touch the other modules. So it is easier to maintain. It is more robust. Here on this slide, though the headings are seems to be familiar, here slowly we are introducing how the class is being defined in OOAD. We know what is class. It is the implementation of abstract data type. It means that abstraction means here the data and procedure are together. So with the help of object-oriented programming in OOAD, we are going to represent class graphically as like this. In a rectangle box, it has three divisions. In the first division, we specify the name of the class, and in the second division we specify the data section, and in the third part we specify what are the functions or procedures defined in this class. So this is how we have to define a class in a OOAD. So we'll have three sections. One is to define the name of the object, then the data section, followed by the procedure section. Look at the diagram. In this diagram, how the object is interacting with other object to accomplish a specific purpose is shown here. Here a set of objects share some common methods and structure to do that particular task. To understand how class and object is defined in OOAD, we have taken this example, employee. Here employee is a class which has name, security numbers, social security number, department and salary as their attributes. This is just a class with attributes. It is not an object. So why it is not an object? Still it is not instantiated. We cannot say that it is an object. Just it is the definition for class. Here we have instantiated the class employee in two different ways. In the first method, we are directly exposing the values of the employee. We are creating different objects with different employee name in figure A, whereas in figure B, we are writing a generalized procedure to collect the details of employee. So with the help of this two different objects, we are trying to say that the second method is the right way of creating an object. It means that we have to write some generalized procedures. The values should not be exposed directly. Instead, we should define a procedure to collect those values. That is what we are trying to define with the help of this slide. Each object will have behavior and identity associated with it. Identity is nothing but the name of the object, whereas behavior defines the operations of an object. So what are the different operations we can perform? We can modify the value of an object. We can access the value of the object. With some iterator function, we can access the values of object in well-defined manner. Constructor function used to create an object. Destructor function used to destroy the object itself. These are the 5 major operations we can perform an object. So this operations defines how the state or value of the object is getting affected. We have come to an end of OOAD introduction part. For this introduction given, you try to write short notes on object-oriented programming concept and also differentiate object modeling and structural modeling. Thank you for listening this lecture patiently, students. Thank you. Bye.